rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
About face forward, march.
Please join us in a moment of silence as we reflect on those serving in the United States Armed Forces, both past and present, the elected leaders of the state of Pennsylvania, and the elected leaders of our nation. We have much to be thankful for in our community. Please be seated. Item number 3, executive session announcement. There was an executive session held on Monday, December 16th at 6:15 at the administration building to discuss personnel matters. On Saturday, January 11th at 8 a.m., there was a special meeting for a school board workshop. On Monday, January 27th at 6:30 in the high school library, there was an executive session to discuss personnel matters. At this time, I'd like to turn the meeting over to Dr. Christian for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Freeze. Item 4.1, our Student Government Executive Council President's Report. Christian Wood.
Thank you, Dr. Christian. First is the high school. The junior classical league students were able to visit the Pompeii exhibit at the Franklin Institute. There was an array of artifacts, frescoes, jewelry, and etc. from the excavations. The junior classical league also had a very successful materials drive for 2 no-kill animal shelters that concluded in December. They are also in the middle of collecting pink yogurt lids sent into Yoplait and Dannon. The submissions translate to donations to breast cancer research. They are collecting pink lids through the end of the school year. The PMEA Region 6 Choir will be February 13 through 15, 2014 at the Upper Marion High School. The following students will be representing OJR: Sarah Helmers, Michelle Tosha, Brianna Harbaugh, and Randy Down. Students who re-audition and placed within the top 6 of 20 at this festival will advance to the PMEA All-State Choir in March. The High School Department of Musical Theater is pleased to announce the production of 42nd Street from March 21st through the 23rd. They are very pleased to have an OJR alumnus, Lauren Paradis, class of 2009, as the new choreographer. Next is the middle school. The middle school's winter sports are off to a great start with their basketball, cheerleading, and wrestling programs. They are proud to announce their spelling bee award winner for the middle school, 8th grader Jonathan Arditi. Jonathan will participate in the Chester County Spelling Bee on February 11th. The middle school would like to recognize their science department and their efforts in hosting their annual science fair on Thursday, January 23rd. They identified 10 award winners to move on to the county level in March. Additionally, the dance committee comprised of several 7th and 8th graders did an outstanding job preparing for their 3rd dance with the PTA on January 31st. The middle school also recognized the Wildcat Pride Award winners for the month of January on January 23rd. And finally, the middle school is excited for the student faculty basketball game on February 7th and the dodgeball tournament on the 28th. Now for East Coventry. January was STEM month at East Coventry. All the students were able to experience a hands-on science lesson in the Pennsylvania Agriculture Science Lab, which was sponsored by the Chester County Farm Bureau. East Coventry also visited the Family Science Night where over 150 people attended. The culminating event was a science research competition where judges from the local science community attended and scored 160 projects. Next is East Vincent. To prepare East Vincent students for the week-long opportunity in Hour of Code, assemblies were held in December. These interactive assemblies were almost entirely written and performed by 5th and 6th grade students. Acknowledging that audience interaction is always unpredictable and that coding is a hard concept to teach, the level of difficulty in preparing, as well as effectively executing the plan was raised. Every detail, from the setup to delivering the information in age-appropriate, interesting, and motivational student parts, produced and ran PowerPoint slides, built the props in the robot, managed the student podium participants, and video recorded the presentations. Next is French Creek. French Creek is proud to share that 18 French Creek students will be advancing to the upcoming PTA State Reflections Competition. Students and staff will be celebrating the school's Counselor Week the first week of February. Now for North Coventry. North Coventry's first ever robotics team, Vista Fury, was awarded the first place teamwork award at the first LEGO League robotics tournament in Dover, Delaware on January 18th. This award recognizes a team that is able to accomplish more together than they ever could as individuals through shared goals, strong communication, effective problem solving, and excellent time management. Finally, is West Vincent. All West Vincent students participated in a bonus PTA-sponsored assembly called Jump with Jill. Jump with Jill is a professional live show that travels the country transforming nutrition education into a rock and roll nutrition concert. It was well received by the students and the staff. West Vincent is also gearing up for February's Black History Month, whereas the Student Council will highlight various historical figures during the daily announcements. West Vincent also has a Black History play slated for the entire school. Finally, West Vincent's Lion Club students are creating Valentines for soldiers, and those will be mailed out very soon. That's our report. Thank you, Dr. Christian.
Thank you, Christian. Item 4.2, we are PSBA student delegate presentation. I believe Zach Servant's here this evening. Zach? Mr. Davis is here too. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me tonight. I'm here. I have a PowerPoint. I don't know if you guys can see that in there. Is that on your computers? I have it right here on these stuff. The PSBA presentation is still student delegate program, as you guys know. I believe you guys sent me there. We had two members from the student government. It was myself and Molly Graham. Molly Graham moved to a different school, however, so I'm just going to be doing it myself. She moved to Cooktown Hall. The delegate program was Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, October 16th, 17th, and 18th. We got there around 3:30. We checked in, registered. We had a welcoming briefing at 5 o'clock. Typical stuff. And then later that night, we had dinner, and then we went to the student celebration showcase, which was very cool. High schools from all over the area had bands, singers, anything you name it. We're there. Next year, I think we should have our 7 else there, because I know they're pretty popular. They're at any of the Thanksgiving Day. Yes. So I think we should have that next year. Go to it. The spring forward game was actually there. I was like, oh, spring forward. Wow. That's why I think we should definitely do that. After that, we just went home. We went back to the hotel room. I should say we got our roommates. My roommate was supposed to come at 3:30ish, didn't come until 10:30 later that night. So that was pretty interesting. So, and then we went into the next day. We started with breakfast, buffet, dinner, lunch, breakfast. You name it. They couldn't give us enough food. And then we started breaking off into our hot topic discussion groups. That's where we broken up into 4 different categories. My category was bullying and cyberbullying. I had kids from Norristown, downtown, a bunch of kids around the area in my groups. That was pretty cool. It was really neat to see the perspective everybody had on it. You get a whole bunch of people in the room, you get a confrontation on that, and in a small period of time, it was 3 hours, we had to draft a plan, just like you guys do, for either technology or anything. So we had to do that in a short period of time for 3 hours. Later that day, we all went to the Hershey Lodge, where the banquet dinner, the show, everything was. We went there and we actually had a mock school board, which was pretty cool. Dr. Christian was there for the tail end of that. Molly Graham was actually up on the school board. I wish she was kind of here to tell us how that experience was, but I was watching on one side. It was pretty cool to see. We had the 4 groups. We had dress codes, technology, nutrition, which is a good topic for our school now, since we just got new members, and then bullying and cyberbullying. I think 3 out of the 4 passed, and it's interesting to see all the little technicalities that everybody gets stuck up on. So it gives the students different input as what you guys go through, and I definitely enjoyed it. Later that night, we had the banquet dinner. Mrs. Booth was there, and so was Mr. Kleinfelter. I enjoyed the dinner. It was very good. Across from me, I actually had the superintendent from Lakeland District. He actually tweeted something, I don't know if you guys can see that in the PowerPoint or not, but he tweeted about, he showed a picture of us. I thought it was pretty cool to give him some recognition. But at the dinner, Captain Phillips spoke. That was an amazing story. It's things he went through and just his journey through that couple days, weeks, however long it was. It was just incredible to hear. And then I actually met with him after he spoke and he signed a book for me. It was a great experience that night. And then later that night we had a dance. It was just kind of a fun thing for the students to do. Friday morning we had Caitlin Roy from Sandy Hook Elementary. She was there talking about her defining her purpose and her leadership skills to help us. Her speech was interesting. She said that she wanted to be a teacher her entire life, and all she wanted to do was teach, and then after that experience she just stopped teaching. So when she was talking, I kind of had a little indifference with her. So I mean, she still had great leadership skills. What she went through was very difficult, and I understand that. Maybe that was the reason why I can understand her. I definitely enjoyed Captain Phillips a lot with her. My feedback, I had great experience. It gave me different knowledge about students, just different things such as like, oh, well, how's your student government structured, and just different things of culture. Some kids out west don't even know what law is. I can believe that. So it's just some of the things we talk about. It gives you a new perspective. Just like I said before, just some of the things. Oh, you guys have this at your school? That'd be really neat that if we had that too. Some kids couldn't believe that we had technology. You meet new connections, new kids, different phrases from all over Pennsylvania. It's good communication skills. I learned how to go in a group, talk to people, and I've already been doing that here at Ojrsd, Robert, but it definitely enhanced my skills. I would definitely love to go back next year, and I think we should do more of these for student government. I definitely think it's a good thing for us to do. Definitely a great experience, and it gives us good practice, and it gives us a different input from you guys to help out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zach. Any questions from the board?
Do we send students every year to that, or is this a new?
We do. And we've had, the past 2 years, we've had students represented.
This was my first
the mock school board meeting.
I have to agree with Zach that the mock school board meeting is a favorite among the school board members too.
Yeah, it's definitely a different experience. I enjoyed that the most because I could stand up, ask questions, and be like, oh, we have this part in here, so obviously that's not going to work. So.
I think it's also great that you got that perspective of how different things are in school districts across the Commonwealth. I mean, there's other places that are just so different than we are. Some are better, I imagine, many are worse. It's good to get that perspective.
Yeah, when you're dealing with some of the cases, definitely the nutrition ones, some of the kids, they had valuable input. Well, our schools don't have enough money. How are we supposed to afford like this card or this and that? So luckily our school district is fortunate to have some of the stuff we have. So.
Thank you, Zach. Item 4.3, student recognition. Congratulations to high school senior Matt Kreider for surpassing 1,000 points in his basketball career at Ojrsd Roberts. Matt is the 5th player in the Ojrsd basketball program history to achieve this accomplishment. Matt, please come up to be recognized. A couple other comments before I move on to item 4.4. The East Vincent Valley Lego Scheme and Honor of Code teams will be presenting their work at the Pennsylvania Educational Expo Convention, which is also called PETC, in Hershey on February 11th. A reminder for all those who've enjoyed the snow the past couple of weeks to clarify, now, since we had off last week, and those are February 14th and April 16th. We posted all that information on the web. We also sent notice out to all of our families so that they can prepare. And we're not even into February yet. That's right. Item 4.4, School Director Recognition Month. Whereas the role of locally elected school officials has served the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and local communities in meeting the needs of public education since the passage of the Free School Act in 1834, and whereas these local boards have discharged their responsibilities to public education in a manner which has placed public education in the forefront of our educational systems, and whereas locally elected officials have distinguished themselves and their communities in this non-paid voluntary public service commitment, and whereas the contributions of these men and women should be recognized and appreciated by those who benefit from the workings of our public school systems, now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Directors of Pennsylvania School Boards Association hereby proclaims the month of January as School Director Recognition Month in this Commonwealth, and further resolved that this proclamation be communicated to all school districts, school officials, and local communities in a planned program which brings visibility and awareness of the role of locally elected school officials to the citizenry of this Commonwealth. On behalf of the faculty, staff, and all employees in Ojrsd, as well as the administrative team, I thank you for your voluntary service to the children of this district. Lastly, we'd like to recognize Mr. Doug Hughes for serving as past president in this past year, 2013. We have a presentation for you, Doug. That concludes my report, Mr. Cruz.
Thank you, Dr. Christian. Item 5, appointment of board members to standing committees and school board representatives. Just want to let everyone know that all members have been made aware of who is the chairs for the different committee members, along with the chair personnel. Item 6, public comment on agenda items. Information, proposal, and statements from individuals or delegations pertaining to items on the agenda. Speakers are to indicate your name, township, or residence in items on the agenda to which your comments are addressed. Speakers will be limited to not more than 3 minutes. Item number 7, board committee reports. There was a committee of the whole meeting which was held on January 13th at Westminster Elementary Primary. And the following committees met at that time: Buildings and Grounds, Curriculum and Instruction, Extracurricular, and Interscholastic. Item 7.2, Buildings and Ground Committee. Mr. Kleinfelder.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. The Buildings and Grounds Committee met as part of the Committee of the Whole on Monday, January 13, 2014 at Westminster Elementary School. We reviewed the professional services agreement with Pursuit for the 2014 groundwater monitoring and water quality management permit renewal application for French Creek Elementary School. That item is on the agenda for approval tonight. Giving some upcoming dates for East Vincent renovation project. Tonight, January 27th, Jackie and the rest of the administration are at the East Vincent Planning Commission meeting. The district is seeking approval for the Planning Commission for final land development plans. February 5th, East Vincent Township Supervisor meeting. The district is seeking the Township Supervisor approval for land development plans. Once we receive township approval, we're looking to submit requests for bids in the March-April timeframe. And then we're hoping to award bids in the April-May timeframe with construction to begin in June of 2014. The next Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting will be held administration room of the administration building boardroom. That includes learning room.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Next on the agenda is the Chester County Intermediate Unit. Mrs. Marcus.
The Chester County Intermediate Unit Board of Directors held its monthly meeting on January 15, 2014 at the Educational Service Center in downtown PA. Mark your calendars, all 3 campuses of the Technical College High School will host board appreciation dinners. CCHS Pickering will host its appreciation dinner on January 30th, which is this Thursday. Students and staff at each campus will provide us tours and tell us about their experience at TCHS. One thing I wanted just to put out there is that this whole idea of a board appreciation dinner came up with by the students. Dr. Ryan and the rest of the admin staff are kind of like, let's see how it goes. But I think it's a really good way for us as board members to get the perspective of what they're actually receiving at the technical college high schools, because they're going to come to us in a couple months and present their budget. And it's really easy to say yay or nay because you're looking at dollar signs, but once you understand exactly what you're getting from these technical colleges or high schools, I think you'll understand why and what. So I encourage you all to attend. We had a presentation by Dr. Hirschberger. She's the supervisor of Migrant Education Service and Family Literacy, and she presented an overview of the 2 programs. Migrant Education Services provide all the education, social and health needs for over 2,200 children in Bucks, Chester, Montgomery, and Delaware and Philadelphia counties. Specific services include identification, instructional support, learning reinforcement, multicultural services, health referrals, parent involvement, coordination, and summer programs. Each of the directors on Dr. O'Brien's executive board give us a presentation, and Dr. Ojrsd, who's the director of student services, she was giving her report, and she made a nice comment that I thought you guys should hear, and I'm kind of sad that Dr. Bell's not here, but they did a preschool review of all the preschools that are embedded in districts, and Eileen Meeker, who runs our preschool at East Vincent, gave a great presentation, and they surveyed her on how she interacts with the community and the school, and she gave a perspective that Dr. Bell has made her program seem like part of the school itself, and for that she's so grateful. So I just think that you should recognize that as well. Our next IU board meeting will be held on Wednesday, February 19th at 8 p.m. at the Technical College High School Brandywine campus, which is behind the IU administration buildings in downtown. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Marcus. Item 7.4, Curriculum and Instruction Committee. Mrs. Marcus.
Okay, I just want to give you guys a few highlights. In math, 6-7 transition. Students in 6th grade will begin taking their early Montana assessment on February 11th. This is one of the data points that determines placements in the 7th grade math. We will be entering all the data points that are used to make that placement into Data Blender, which will make the process simpler for teachers to analyze, and they can begin to have those initial placement conversations with parents during spring conferences. Christian already told you all about the East Country Science thing, but I want to let you know that was prompted by teachers. In fact, it was prompted by a student teacher a few years ago that's now a permanent teacher at East Country, and they keep that progression alive, and they're doing a great job. They had over 200 projects in the Ojrsd Science research competition. 3 buildings have had their competitions, 3 more are happening next week. 5 students per grade level will move on to Chester County competitions, and from there they'll move on to Delaware Valley competitions, and we'll get to see those projects that are moved on from Chester County to Delaware County. Learning walks are taking place in ELA. Dr. Monahan said that there was, because of the way that the curriculum is laid out, the emphasis was on informational writing, and he was really psyched to see some of the progression in the, I don't want to get the right term, forcing more and giving the kids a chance to create more. So it's less teacher, more kids, and everything that they provide in PD, he's seeing back, and it's across the district in grades K through 6. So that's a great thing. In 9-10 transition, the CDT will be given in the spring, it'll be one data point to help transition those kids in 8th grade to 9th grade and the correct placement of those kids in high school. In February, our committee of the whole topics will be a science update and summer programming. That's where we talk about Jumpstart and Intercamp. So if you have any questions, comments, or anything, you can go ahead and let me know. And then curriculum revisions for 2014, 2015, just to give you the heads up, is social studies, but we also work with a special area, correct? I'm sorry, I missed that. No, what is our library? So media specialist, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Vargas. Finance Committee, Mr. Sherman.
Thank you, Mr. Freeze. First off, I'd like to welcome my colleagues to the Finance Committee, Mrs. Booth, Mr. Hughes, and Mr. Kleinfelder. As you know, the first 5 months of the year, the Finance Committee does the heavy lifting. A couple of items to update my board colleagues. We held a Finance Committee transition meeting with our liaison, Mrs. Carmine, on Friday, the 24th. I invited Mrs. Booth to sit in on that, given her new role on the Finance Committee, and we mostly discussed board timelines as we lead up to our budget approval vote, which our goal is the May board meeting, May 19th. Leading up to the budget approval discussions, there will be 2 specific Finance Committee meetings that the entire board is involved with, and we would encourage any public, any residents at that time to be part of those meetings as well. And they are scheduled for March 3rd and April 7th. Additionally, the board budget calendar, meeting calendar schedule is on the school district website. And we've asked Mrs. Carmine to add a radio button on the website to collect any good budget ideas from board colleagues and or residents of the community. I also have a statement that I'd like to read this evening specific to an agenda item. This evening, the school board will be adopting a resolution stating that the district will not raise the rate of any tax more than the Act 1 index of 2.1% for the year 2014-15. The school district's most significant budget challenge over the next 5 to 6 years will be the funding of our share of the contributions to the Pennsylvania State Employees Retirement System, otherwise known as PESERS. For 2014-15, this rate is increasing to 21.4% of our payroll. This is an increase of 4.47% over the prior year and represents a net increase to the district of approximately $1.5 million, assuming that we receive the state fund and they fund their share of 50% of the total cost, which is not a done deal. As I stated, over the next several months, the Finance Committee will be meeting to discuss and review the budget for this year. The Finance Committee meetings, specific Finance Committee meetings are scheduled for March 3rd and April 7th at 6 p.m. in the School District Administration Board meeting, and we encourage community members to attend, and certainly are invited to be involved. Thank you, Mr. Priest.
Thank you, Mr. Sherman. Next is Legislative and Policy Committee, Mr. Hughes.
Thank you, Mr. Priest. I will be meeting Dr. Acosta Friday morning for an orientation session as chair of the committee, and we will be having our first meeting on February 10th at 7:30 p.m. I guess following the Cal meeting.
Personnel Committee, Mr. McCall.
I have no report this time.
Thank you, Mr. McCall. Moves us to number 8, recommend routine matters. We need a motion to approve recommended routine matters. Is there consent items 8.2 through 8.11?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Rogoff, second by Mr. Kleinfelder. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moves us to number 9, approval of routine matters, consent items 9.2 through 9.5. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Rogoff. Second by Mr. Kleinfelder. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Board communication. At this time, is there any board communication, Dr. Soto?
There's none, Mr. President.
Thank you, Dr. Soto. Item number 11, board discussion. Is there any board discussion at this time?
Mr. President, I have a few items I want to bring up. I'll try to be brief. First of all, Mrs. Barton just reminded me of something. There's a push in Pennsylvania and across the United States to have universal preschool. Well, if we get that, what are we going to call it? It's not preschool, it's school. So we've got to think of a name, pre-K. The other thing is, having met with some of my colleagues from across the Commonwealth, you can attest exactly the value of meeting people from other places. They tell me that you can either have a committee of the whole or a committee system. It's one or the other. So we've got to make a decision on that at some future point. But there's some more heavy lifting, and I want to get some discussion on here. I saw a demonstration from the inventor of Board Docs. And there's so many capabilities of Board Docs that we're not using. I just wanted to talk about 2 items. We can have very easily electronic voting. Either on this screen or those or both, the screen will pop up and show who voted how, and show who made the motion. You can make a motion that way. It's much simpler for the person taking minutes, and in fact, you can jot notes into it, short notes, and it produces the minutes for us. The minutes are publicly available on our website. That's one aspect of Board Docs that we don't use, and I think it's worth looking into. But the board would have to go along with the idea of electronic voting. But you see everybody's name above us, so people know. And it was really worthwhile to mention. Another item Mr. Stone alluded to, and thank you for bringing that up, was the issue of what the PSERS bills are going to do, budgets not only here but across the Commonwealth. I had an opportunity to speak to the education aides in a couple of senators' offices, Senator Cornyn, Senator Fulmer, this past week. And we tried to drive home the difficulties that the school districts are going to have across the state with meeting the bills that are going to come in from PSERS. And as it happened, all of us that were speaking to these senators' aides were from relatively wealthy school districts. And I was sad to hear how many items were being cut from the budgets of these school districts because of the burden that the PSERS bills are going to have on us. And what that leads me to ask of all of us, and I've got to get board support on this item, is have more community engagement. Because if we contact our legislators and explain the difficulties it brings here, there's 9 of us. And so every one of us sends a letter to the legislator, it's 9. But if we can get community engagement, if the legislators find out that it's important to everyone in their community where they are elected, they'll open their eyes and open their ears to this issue. Along those lines, we have a letter prepared that I'm hoping I can get Ms. Catalano to take a hold of for an editorial explaining what it means to Ojrsd Roberts in the form of the cost of PSERS bills coming up. And I hope you will all assent to all of us, and me especially, making these editorials to the paper that are about common issues that face all school districts, most especially our own. And I'd like to get that out to the public as soon as possible so they can see what they have to look forward to if we don't do something about these costs that are coming at us now. Did you have a question? And that concludes my end of the discussion. I was ready to chat.
I have a couple small items, and one refers somewhat to what you had mentioned, which was the way you operate a board, with a whole as opposed to committees. And I prepared this prior to your statement and done this, think about this over the last few weeks, and partly finally just kind of solidified my thought over this statement. And what I'd like to say is, after reviewing the board committee organization, I believe it would be valuable to create a co-chair or a second chair for each of our expanded committees, due to the increased scope of each committee's arena of responsibilities and increased number of participants in each committee. I believe a co-chair or second chair would provide a far greater opportunity and flexibility for the dissemination of information and duties within each said committee. This may also provide greater opportunity for discussion, decision, and actions requiring immediate action. In light of the upcoming projects and financial challenges, as well as daily considerations facing this and future boards, I feel this format would provide the entire board of directors a broader base of full knowledge. Expounding on this thought, the two assignees would best be representatives of alternate election cycles, allowing continuity of experience, knowledge, and understanding of each committee's responsibilities. Therefore, I'm asking the board to consider creating such a co-chair, second chair for each of the committees to serve our district in a better manner. This, I think, reflects a little bit on what Bill has said concerning committee of the whole versus actual standing operating committees. And I've written that out, and I was going to use this comment in the minutes. But also this has to do with how our minutes are put together. And I'm just asking that in future preparation of board meeting agendas and board meeting minutes, we utilize lay terms along with the appropriate educational lingo, acronyms and act numbers whenever possible prior to public dispersal for the benefit of non-board members to understand and interpret the information under discussion and under vote. Thank you.
Very easy to slip into age of Apple, that's for sure. I don't think this requires a vote, but can I get a consensus? Would anybody object to me sending out this editorial? Yeah. Okay.
And I'd also like to say that I like Mrs. Booth's idea of having a discussion about a co-chair or a second chair, because there are times when the chair's not present, and then we say no report. That way the chairman could give the report to the second chair, whatever, so that we don't have any gaps. So I don't know, I guess we can just agree to pursue a discussion in the future.
When Mr. Stone was good enough to ask me to sit in on the financial meeting, I thought it was extremely helpful because I, as a board member, really was not under the proper bit of knowledge to know what was going on in that committee, and I think it jump-started me with what I have to do as a committee member and responsibilities this committee deals with. I think it was extremely valuable, and as I said, really solidified what I've been thinking about for the last week or two ever since committees were announced. And I, as a new member, kind of said, well, I'm not really quite sure what I have to do here, and I want to know. And I just thought that was so valuable, and I really appreciated it immensely. I think maybe all the committee members, or all the committees would benefit from more interaction, and at least a little more knowledge, and covering it when the chair can't be there. I'm not saying to change the basis of authority within the committee, but to have a second person involved in a continuity of progress in the committee. So anyway, thank you for listening to my whole.
I believe that could be a discussion item when these do come up. And Okay, moving on to item 12, old business. Seeing that there is no old business, moving to item 13. Motion to approve personnel matters. These are consent items 13.2 through 13.9.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Kleinfelder, second by Mr. Stone. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14, new business. Item 14.1, approval of the start date and calendar for the 2014-2015 school year. Moved by Mrs. Marcus.
Second.
Second by, thank you, Mr. Wolf. Second by Mrs. Wolf. Any discussion? I just wanted, my discussion item on this one was just making sure that as long as this is set plan, reading everything at the start of the school year will be September 2nd. Thank you very much for the clarification. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14.2, approval of affirmation, I'm sorry, of local board procedures, board governance standards, and code of conduct. Moved by Mr. Stone. Second by Mr. O'Connell. Any discussion?
We gotta read from these from time to time when we start the meetings. That's not much of a discussion.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14.3, approval of student activity clubs and organizations.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. McCall, second by Mr. Stone. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14.4, ratification of homebound students. Moved by Mr. Hughes.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Zululu. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 14.5, approval of confidential stipulation and agreement regarding waiver of manifestation, determination, and expulsion hearing. Moved by Mrs. Marcus. Second by Mrs. Lulu. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14.6, approval, ratification of out-of-state overnight student trips.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. McCall.
Second.
Second by Mr. Stone. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item 14.7, approval of conference attendance. Moved by Mr. Kleinfelder. Second by Ms. Vargas. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item 14.8, approval to grant administration permission to apply for state, federal, and local grants for the 2014-15 fiscal year. Second. Mr. Kleinfelder, second by Mrs. Lulu. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item 14.9, approval of accelerated budget opt-out resolution certifying tax rate within inflation index.
So moved.
Second by Mr. Stone, second by Mr. McCall. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item 14.10, approval of order of stipulation agreement with Coventry Retail LP.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Stone,
Second.
second by Mr. O'Connell. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14.11, award of bids in accordance with CCIU joint purchasing agreement. Moved by Mrs. Vargas. Second by Mrs. DeLuca. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14.12, approval of professional services agreement. Moved by Mr. Kleinfelter. Second by Mr. McCall. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 15, public comment. Information, proposal statements, and/or questions from individuals or delegations pertaining to any item. Speakers are to indicate their name and township of residence. Speakers are limited to not more than 3 minutes.
My name is Marlon Strohecker. I'm a resident of South Cumberland Township for the last 50 years. In 1961, I had the privilege of being selected as a math teacher here at J. Roberts. In 1967, or 68 school year, I was moved to the chemistry department and performed the duties of athletic director for the high school. After 5 years of doing that, I was made director of student activities and did all the athletics and activities, dances and so on here at J. Roberts until my nerves got the best of me. I resigned that position and moved back to the classroom for my last 13 years of retirement in 1994. The reason I'm here, I'm also, people are not just recognizing me by name, but by my appearance, because they knew I was a teacher there. The reason I'm here tonight is because during my term as the athletic director, let me go back to 1961 when I came. Well, unbeknownst to me, that was the first year that Coach Henry Burnett was football coach. And for the next 6 years, O&J competed in the Chestnut League and did not do very well. Our wins were few and far between. But in 1967, we should have won our first Chestnut championship under the leadership of Mr. Burnett and a guy called Don Stride. Now, of course, let me go back and say that when I resigned as athletic director, that's why you have Mr. Dave Stride. And so anyway, I feel as though the high school football stadium should be renamed the Henry J. Burnett Football Stadium. During Mr. Burnett's 30 years as coach here at J. Roberts, he won 8 Chesmont championships. 1970 being the first one. He should have won that first one in 67. Over the course of years, he won 8 Chesmont championships and won a Pac-10 championship in our first year in the Pac-10. He's compiled a record of 195 wins. I think that's worthy of being recognized. And I think that our football program needs a little boost. But I think renaming that stadium would be a big help. But I think also Mr. Burnett might come in and talk to kids about the dedication it takes to win. If you find reason to approve this request, it would be my intent to form a committee made up of former football players that we could have a bust of Mr. Burnett placed at the entrance of the football stadium. And I'll Clemson, they'll have the players touch that bust as they move into the football stadium. So I'd like to be careful consideration. I think it's a very worthwhile endeavor, and I think he deserves that kind of recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Strohecker.
Mr. Strohecker, do you have contact information that you could give a phone number? Okay, to Dr. Christian, thanks.
Mr. Freeze, I know this isn't a question and answer time in the board meeting, but I would just like to go on record publicly and say I fully support what Mr. Strohecker and his friends are here this evening saying. If there's any way that we can get that accomplished, I think it'd be worthwhile for the school board.
Thank you, Mr. Strohecker. there any other public comments?
I believe Mr. Cable, our solicitor, would like to say a few words.
This is my first board meeting since you appointed our firm in December. And so I'd like most of all to say thank you for the confidence you have had in our law firm, Cable, Delano, Lord, in appointing us as solicitor. I know you have an extraordinary team, both the school board and the administration, and it's an honor to be part of that team. And I'll work hard to do everything I can, and the others in my firm will do the same to contribute to OJR's success as an extraordinary school district. And we had a transition meeting in December with Dr. Christian and Mrs. Crumrine, so we're now fully engaged and ready to go, and it's a pleasure to be here this evening and to get to know you all. I'll be attending the next board meeting as well, and then after that, some of my colleagues will attend so that you can get to know them as well. Congratulations on a very efficient board meeting, and again, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Item 16, board request for information. Moving on to item 17, motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Hall. Second by Mr. Stone. The meeting is